Today we shall be learning how to make a simple birthday flyer design. So first you start by importing your source files. I'm going to make this source file available using the description link. So this is the first source file, the picture. Just scale it properly and keep it however you want it to be in your image. You can always rescale later, so don't bother to do all the rescaling. Import the second one. That should be this. Drag it to Photoshop and drop. Scale it also, keep it. Then import the third one. There's the third one. Okay, this and drop in Photoshop. Alright, so now that you drop them, the next thing you need to do is to scale them to the size you want them to appear. So this for this, this is okay for this, this is okay for this. Okay, this is it. This should be okay for this. I want to rotate this one because I don't want it facing the same way that the other image is facing. So what do I do? Control T. When you press Control T, then you right click. When you right click, then you can flip horizontal. So when you flip horizontal, you see the direction that the image was facing changed. It's just as easy as that. Yeah. Yeah, so now that I've placed them, the next thing I want to do is to clean the parts of the images that I do not want. To do that, I'm going to click on the layer that I want to clean the part and then create a clipping mask, a layer mask, sorry. So on the layer mask, after creating the layer mask, I'm going to select my brush tool, check if the size is okay, and also check if the hardness is on 0. So now that I know it's on 0, I can now proceed to clean the part of the image which I wouldn't be needing for the design. This does it. And then I can still come here, increase the hardness. When I increase the hardness, it means the brush will not be interfering much. Yeah, I've increased the hardness. Come here, there's this other second layer, create a layer mask and also do the same. I notice that when I increase the hardness, there is no the part of the brush is direct on where it touches. But if I decrease the hardness to 0, you can see how it touches. You can feel the part of the brush like beyond the layer where I'm touching it. So it all depends on what you want. There is no strict rule on how to do this. It depends on what you want for your design. If you want it to touch, if you want it to look like it's transparent, the edge of it is transparent to the background, then you can reduce the hardness of the layer. So that being out of the way, I think this is okay for the background. I mean for the image, I think this is okay. So what else do you want to do? You can decide to group these 3 images. Hold Control and click on the 3 image, and then you can either press Ctrl G or just simply click here. You group the image. So while grouping the image, you can decide to scale the 3 images together. So it's easy, or let me say it's easier to scale the 3 images. So we have this now. We have this now. This is okay. This is okay. What next do you want to do? You would want to add the background. So from our source file, which I said I provide on the description, I want to use this background for the image. So here you go. Don't bother yourself if it's covering all the images. For now, it doesn't matter. What you just need to do is to take this layer below the group of images, and you see it automatically comes up. So this is what you get as the background layer as soon as you add it to the image. What next do you want to do? This image seems like it's floating. It seems like it's floating. So what else do you want to do? You need to add a background shadow to this particular image. So click on the image, ensure that you're on the image, add a new layer. When you've added a new layer, go to your brush tool, ensure that you're on the new layer, go to your brush tool and set this, slant this brush preset. Now that you've slanted the brush preset, this is what you get instead of the normal round brush that you're supposed to get. Slant it, then come to the image and check the size that you think will fit the layer. Okay, so this is like the size of the leg. Next thing you want to do is to ensure that this foreground color, it's in black. So when it's in black, it means whatever you're doing with this brush, the shadow will be on black. So drop it here, drop it on her feet. So after I've dropped it on her feet, you can see it's overlapping, like her feet is like above the shadow. What you just need to do is to take this layer and drop it below where she's standing. You can see how it's now looking like she's actually standing on the ground there. If you think the shadow is too dark, you can always use the opacity to however you want it to be. So let's say we go with 91. 91 is okay. This is 100. This is 91. Which do you think is better? Just use anyone you think is better. Just use anyone you think is better. Let's go with 90 for this. Sorry if you're watching this video and then there's a kind of background noise right now because it's raining here while recording this video. So that's why you may be getting this background noise. So now that you have, she's standing now on the floor while these ones are like on the background. What else do you want to do? You may want to add more beautiful files. So let's import this flower. in case you have a picture of a flower like this that you don't know how to remove the layer, the background, sorry, you can just go back to a video I've uploaded before, and then you know how to remove the background. So we have this layer now. We want this layer below the standing. Yeah, so it's better this way. You can risky, make it big, because the petal is like cut half. I'm going to place it this way, this way. So this should do. You may not want to leave this flower like this so it doesn't compete with the images. So what you just need to do is to come to filter, come to blur. You can either choose Gaussian blur or motion blur, but for this I think we should try motion blur. Yeah, so you still have your flower there, but it's not like competing with the image, it's just like a background. So this is beautiful, this is beautiful. Secondly, I think the transition between this hand and the background, it's somehow not so smooth, so you may decide to use the brush tool also. Use the brush tool, and for this ensure that you create a background, an extra layer. When you've created this extra layer, then use the brush tool. You set the preset to normal. Then for the background color, ensure to pick the color close to the image. So now that you picked it as the background color, you can now use the brush preset, increase it and add it here. So what why you're doing this is so that there is a kind of transition between the background and the image facing that way. So you see, this is it. You can no longer be seeing that kind of weird transition there. You may want to reduce the opacity of this. Yeah, this is okay. This is good. Don't forget, if you want to add any other thing you want to add that may not be on this source file, just import it to Photoshop and add. I mean, there's a whole lot that you can add. Let's also add these light effects. So import this light effect to Photoshop. Now, one advantage of adding a light effect is that it's going to interfere with your design, and I'm going to show you what I mean after now. It may interfere with your design subsequently. So this is a light effect that's covered everywhere. Then come to the blend mode and soft light or screen. I think I'll go with soft light. I mean, there are lots of them. You can just keep trying. Anyone you think is better, you go with it. Then I'm going to increase this. And then I drop the opacity of this. So the light effect is there, but it's not like really there. Where's the light effect? There's a light effect. So without it. So this is okay. Well, you may want to hide this light effect for now, because if you don't hide it and then you click on this layer, maybe you wanted to click on this image, you can't click on it because the light effect is all over the place. So you can hide it, and when you hide it, you can easily click on any layer that you want to click, and it takes you to that. If you have any question, you can always drop. Don't forget, I'm willing to answer them. So after doing this, the next thing you want to do is to write the name of our model. So you can add the name now. You can write the name. So let's take our test. The name of our model is Maria Bliss. Now you have to be creative while writing the name. There are so many ways you can write the name, right? So let's go with this first letter cap log. So we have the first letter written. Let's resize it now. I don't know the size in your system, but whatever size you may want to use is still okay. So this is the first word. So next thing you need to do is to look for a font. Yeah, maybe a font like this or something like this. Anything that will make it not to be like too casual, because like it's a birthday flyer that you're making. So let's go with this. So this is like the name of the person whose birthday it is. We cannot add her surname somewhere below. Her surname does not need to be in this particular font again, although you're advised not to use too many fonts while doing your design, but I mean this is still allowed. Let's just use a simple font like this one, and then increase the size to, let's say, 72. Okay, drag it down now, drag it down to here, and then increase it further. Yeah, so we have her name written. The next one to add is a happy birthday. You can, okay, no, it's overlapping with our code text, so come here, say happy birthday. I will now increase the font so it will be obvious. I'll increase the font size. So we have happy birthday here. Then I'm going to change the font style. Let's change the font style to Let me use area, the same one I used for her surname. Yeah, so this is okay. The next thing we want to add is the birth date, which is 20th of August. So you can just type in 20th August anywhere in the file. Why you see me type it in a separate layer, I mean somewhere far from our already existing text, is to avoid overlapping on the next or on the text that we already have. So let's say for instance, if we want to type in something and then we say let's come down here to type in 20th of August, it automatically displays this other text that we already have. So that's why it's important that you type in your text in a separate part of your design. So this is it. We have 20th of August here. Let's make this 20th of August more outstanding by adding a circular shape. So we are giving our 20th of August a background. Make sure you take it to the uppermost layer so it is not behind any text or image. So here it is. 20th of August should be above it. So drag this here, place it accordingly. Then if the 20th of August is in the middle, let's make this 20th of August thick. Let's make it bold. Yeah, the next thing I want to do is to reduce this circle around it and still proceed to place this 20th of August in the middle of it. So after placing it, we can easily hold control, click on both layers and group them. This means we can now reduce both together. So our 20th of August is now in the background. I think we should still increase it. Make sure the group is highlighted and then press Ctrl T, and then you can increase it to whatever size you want to increase it to. Don't forget, there's no straight rules to this. You can do whatever you want to do with them. It's about your creativity and what you want to achieve at the end of the day. For this design, I'm making everything very, very easy and simple so that any person, regardless of your level, you can easily follow. So we have Maria Bliss, we have the happy birthday. What else do we want to add? We may decide to add a kind of write up. So let's write something beautiful for her. Let's say, okay, drag in this box to know the size of text you want to write. This means this text is smaller than we need it to be, so increase it to, let's say, 30, and then this should be automatic for now. What else? I think that should do. So you might type in on this occasion of your birthday, we pray for God's divine strength, and grace to continue the good work you are doing in the ministry and life of your beloved husband. So it must not be this, it can be anything you want to write, but I just choose to write this. Some persons will just leave it at the default text there since it's a practice design, but no, I want us to add this here. So when you check this, if it's not showing clearly, you can decide to change the background of this text, let's say to something like white. So if white works for you, like me here, white works for me, so you can just decide to change this to white and place it wherever you want it to be. So we have a wish for her. Is there any other thing you want to add to this design? You can always add whatever you want to add. I mean, she's a barrister, she's a mother, she's a wife, whatever you want to add, there's enough space for you to add that. The next thing we may want to try, let's just try this. If it works, okay. If it doesn't work, no problem also. Next thing we may want to try is to add a kind of, to use brush here on the text. So we have the layer of our brush, we have a new layer created. Then on this new layer, let's just add a kind of brush. Okay, then let's take this brush below the layer of all the texts. Then let's create a layer mask and clean the parts we don't want. So some persons may want to do this on their design because they don't want like all the text to just appear there. Let's control Z. I think I've cleaned it to just appear blank without a background. So you may want to do something like this. Like as I've said, it's optional. Most of these things optional. There's no strict rule on how they must be done. There's no strict rule on how they must be done. So you can always press X on your keyboard whenever I want to switch between cleaning. Let's take for instance, if I press X on my layer mask, it cleans the layer. If I press X again and then the color here swaps, it adds. So I have something like this on your place. Yeah, this should work. This should work. Ensure this layer is below. Ensure this layer is below any of the text there. If you want to send it down, no problem. But ensure it's below all the texts that you have. Ensure it's below the text that you have. Now there was a light effect that we hit the other time, so let's add it now. With it, so you can decide if this is okay for you, if this works for you. Next thing you want to do before you export is let's decide to group all the layers, and how you just click on the bottom or the up layer and hold shift and click on the last one, then press Ctrl E. You'll be grouping it into a single image. Now that you've grouped it into a single image, you can then come here and decide to add, let's say, hue and saturation. This is us trying to like edit it now as a picture. You see how the color is changing, you see. So this may not be necessary for your design, so it's like optional. If you want to, you do it. If you don't want to, you can leave it. Let's okay, let's leave it at this. Then you can come here and check if it added beauty to your design. So this is with it, this is without it, this is with it, this is without it. I'm going to leave it at this. I would export it at this point, but if you think we should have left it this way, you can always comment below. But if you think this is better, you can always comment below. Thank you for following up to this time. Don't forget to like and to comment and also to subscribe as